right? Like it's more difficult, I think, for the main series games because you have to make something that sounds plausible about new Pokemon and stuff like that, and you can look at it and go, well, that's obviously nonsense, right? Whereas if you go, oh, there's going to be a set featuring...
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 662nd episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Bobby.
Hello. I am here and in a garage again. So, I think this may be the new permanent spot, so I may be in a garage going forward.
It doesn't look like a garage. You can't let listeners know. It does look like a room.
It is. I mean, yes. I mean, I'm in a room, not a garage.
There's no car sitting next to you.
I did see the car. He turned the camera around before the recording, and I saw the car. I
promise. There is.
Just the fumes from the car. Bobby
Some
gets
people
more.
No. Some people have cars in their offices, like really wealthy real estate, like show-offy people. They have like their Bugatti in their office, like that's just like a piece of art. Mine's just a Mazda 6.
Record in the room you dream to be in. Al is also here.
Yes, in a converted garage. So there you go. Yes. Proper room, not in a garage anymore. I never stored a car in it anyway. Who stores a car in their garage? Come on, it's for rubbish, right?
That's true.
That's the American dream.
I always thought that too.
Yeah, it's just what I'm looking for, the American dream.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Okay, we have a show for you guys today. We have Pokemon Sleep. We know everything now about the Cresselia versus Darkrai event. We're going to be talking about the Pokemon Manga, which we do manga, which we do once every 10 years. Pokemon Legos got announced, so that's pretty big. And Al is a big Lego guy, so this is real perfect for this episode. Not planned at all. And then the TCG Pocket decided that they need even more money from us. So there's a new set coming in a couple days. And then, so that's our show. And then we'll have the post bonus talk as well, which will probably just be Al's thoughts on Pokemon Day since Al has not been on in a couple weeks.
I feel like this episode is relying on me quite a lot here.
Yeah. Actually, we need the opposite of the American dream. That's why we have Al here.
At some point, you two are just going to leave and it'll just be me on just talking.
Perfect. Some housekeeping before we start the episode. I think everyone, this would be very weird if this was your very first time listening to our podcast, but maybe it is. But if you listened to last week's episode, we had two segments where Hannah was not real excited about, and I think Hannah did an excellent job at expressing her thoughts and her feelings. And over the too long didn't read is Hannah was not, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I got to do a too long didn't read. Hannah was not okay with the Scopely stuff, and real disappointed in the Pokemon Company. I think that's probably the best way I could say it, is that she was disappointed in the Pokemon Company. So she posted on her Blue Sky, she posted in the Slack that she is stepping away from the show. And I don't know how long that is. I don't know if that's forever. I don't know if that's for 3 weeks. I don't know. That's totally up to her, right? And I respect her decision on that. And yeah, so if you want to find her, she is on Blue Sky. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you watch the YouTube version, it says our handles underneath our names. So it does make so you could find us if you wanted to find us. Sometimes people come into my stream and they're like, how's Greg? And I was like, Greg has it, so you can just ask Greg. They'll be like, say hi to Will for me. Will is on social media.
That's right. People do that with Greg as well. I see him answering questions on Blue Sky all the time, and people asking him about Will. You're like, Will's on here as well, right?
So I don't know. We try to make it as easy to find us. But this is a great coincidence. Not a great coincidence as Hannah's leaving, because I think we all love Hannah, but a great coincidence that they announced Lego news, and Al is very into Legos, so that is a good coincidence. So try to make the best out of these situations. Pokemon Sleep. Let's get into news. Cresselia versus Darkrai. Is this where I say I was right again, and that the Cresselia versus Darkrai was going to be a big number that we all shared together?
That's true. You did say that. I forgot that you actually did say that.
It doesn't. Yeah. It still doesn't say how Darkrai shows up besides getting that number really big.
Yeah.
Does that mean he just goes into our inventory because we completed like a global challenge?
Well, right, because doesn't it say at the end, it says something like, you might befriend Darkrai? Like, it's like question? Like,
there
maybe?
Might be a chance to befriend Darkrai.
Yeah.
Might be a chance.
Might be a chance. Yeah.
Well, here, let's talk about the Cresselia part. So Cresselia will appear at Greengrass, Snowdrop, and they're really trying to make Snowdrop work, and Lapis Lakeside. It will still appear after Cresselia vs. Darkrai event ended. Its main skill will be Lunar Blessing, which will restore energy to all helper Pokemon on your team. It will also get some of each berries for each Pokemon on your team, including Cresselia, to collect. So this is kind of like energy for everyone. Well, it does say energy for everyone, but it's called Lunar Blessing. So it's kind of like energy for everyone plus Rufflets or Mimikyu's Berry Burst.
Yeah.
Which makes me question, if it's a legendary Pokemon, is the energy for everyone going to be as strong as Gardevoir? Or I think the order of best to worst is Wigglytuff, Palmy, Sylveon, Gardevoir. Technically, even though if you have one, it's fine.
You said worst to best?
Yeah, worst to best. Wigglytuff would be worse. Gardevoir would be best.
Okay. Got it.
Although I don't think too much of that. Don't think like, oh my gosh, I have to throw away my Wigglytuff.
Well, that's what I was going to do. No, but you're not talking about like how much energy you actually receive, though. You're just saying like based on other stats, because like the energy for everyone, it's the same amount no matter which Pokemon.
It's right? Just that Gardevoir procs quicker, so you would ideally get more energy throughout the day because of Gardevoir versus Wigglytuff. When I say quicker, again, it's probably like the difference of like 5 procs versus 6 procs, and you're already over the. It's fine. Don't I don't want anyone to stress about having a bad healer. I am curious if, because Cresselia is doing 2 things, does that mean it's not doing anything better than anyone else? But also, it's a legendary, so does that mean it is doing something better than anyone else? Because 1, it's going to be really, really rare once the event is over, and 2, legendaries are already really hard to power up.
Right.
Which, if it is as good, let's just say it's as good as like a Wigglytuff, which is the worst one. It's kind of like you made us hunt desperately for a Ralts before this event, and now Cresselia is just kind of there.
No, they made you hunt desperately for a Ralts before the event.
I didn't. I was still looking for Palmy.
Oh, right. You were on Power Plant. Yeah. Well, they've done this before, though, right? I mean, like, not exactly the same because the previous legendaries didn't have energy for everyone, but it's like the event before Raikou was like, try to catch electric Pokemon, and then you're going to get a Raikou that in some ways is going to potentially be better than like something you may have caught already.
Yeah, like Raikou is better than like Jolteon.
Yeah, and for all those Jolteon fans out there.
Entei is better than Arcanine. Is there an equivalent for Suicune? There probably is a water equivalent. I can't think of who it is.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right, though. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But Yeah, so I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same. It is nice that it's getting a different main skill since all of the ultra beasts, all not the ultra
This
beasts,
game has
not the
Ultra
ultra beasts,
Beasts?
not the ultra beasts. Sorry, the roaming beasts. Since all of the roaming beasts got this had the same main skill, you know, it's nice that they aren't just doing that for psychic Pokemon with Cresselia.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lunar Blessing makes sense. I feel like when Al was playing back in the day, there were some abilities that were not making sense, and then they've done this thing where slowly over time they've changed abilities. Like Mr. Mime has now a mimic ability, which is really neat. I don't know if it makes Mr. Mime that much better, but it fits. It fits better, and then Ditto pretty much has mimic as well, where they just call it transform. So. The actual event is pretty much the same as the Entei, Suicune, and Raikou. It'll be a 2-week period starting March 31st. You can go to any area, so I guess that's a little different. When it was Raikou and when it was Entei, it was only green grass. But then what Suicune was like.
Cyan and Lapis as well, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you could go to Topalo for Suicune.
You couldn't. I think it was Cyan and Lapis.
They're saying you can. They're saying you can go anywhere except if you want Cresselia to appear naturally, or if you're lucky trainers, that would be Greengrass, Beach, or sorry, Greengrass, Snowdrop, Lapis. Otherwise, you can just use the incense to summon it. For the first week, your main skills will be boosted by 1. So if you got that Mr. Mime with Mimic, it'll go up by 1 for free. And then your week 2, your main skills are boosted by 3. And you will automatically get a bigger Snorlax right off the bat. So that's not any different. Snorlax will have the Mago Berry, Psychic type as one of its berries. The other 2 will be randomized. Cresselia, if you have Cresselia on your team, your drowsy power is multiplied by 1.2. This is just to make you use your Master Ball right away. Pokemon of different sleep styles will appear regardless. Psychic type Pokemon will bring you 1 extra ingredient. All Psychic type Pokemon's main skills will be multiplied by 1.5. And then the same thing as before, where it is saying Cresselia is appearing in all these areas. I think it's saying after the event. Sorry, after the event is over, Cresselia will not appear in all those areas. But the same thing, like if you go to Old Gold Power Plant, that's Mime Junior, Muna, Musharna. Cyan Beach is only Mr. Mime and Mime Junior. Topalo is Espeon, Wobbuffet. Why not? I have no clue why anyone would go to Topalo during this event, but
the music.
But there will still be the event exchange. You can get Cresselia Incense, Cresselia Biscuit, main skill seeds, all that stuff. Good week. Look, if you got people on your friends list that are not logging in during the Cresselia event, I think it is time. To delete them.
What I find interesting, so these are only the 4th and 5th legendaries in the game, right? They've not done anything since the Beasts last year.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's interesting to go from the Beasts in 1 year and then the next year do Cresselia and Darkrai. Are they the Pokemon that are going to bring you back? Like, there's no Mewtwo. Why no Mewtwo?
Yeah, that's true. I know. We really,
and it's not like they're worried and they're going through the legendaries really quickly, and they want to make sure that they leave Mewtwo for last or something. It's been a year since the last legendary. It's a long time.
I think it's because of the way that this event is introducing like a new mechanic.
Yeah,
and so they
could have done that in a different way, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
they decided they wanted to do this, right? Like, I don't think they're introducing the legendaries because they're introducing the mechanic. They decided they're introducing the mechanic in the legendaries, right? They could do what they want. They're making the game.
I mean, like I said on the Pokemon Day podcast, they must be doing pretty well. They must be really happy with the revenue or the player base because they didn't have to hit the Mewtwo button at all. Like, there's a reason to save Mewtwo. Like in Niantic's case, there's a reason to save Mega Mewtwo for the 10th anniversary. Like, that's pretty special.
Although it's not going to be Niantic by that point.
Like, maybe we should press it now before Scopely takes our money.
Maybe.
But there's also like there's also reasoning to be like, well, let's save this, or let's line this up with something in the anime or something in the card game. And Team Rocket is coming around the corner, so that could, for TCG stuff, so that could be a Mewtwo thing. But there's nothing in the anime or the card game or the main series game that is like Cresselia Darkrai. Besides the fact that I feel like ever since they introduced Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, they've just been like, this is everything Gen 4 possible down your throats.
Yeah.
And it like feels like it still hasn't gone away. Like,
it's
even
like
in
they were meant to be
Pocket,
every week,
like,
and they ended up being every year instead.
Like, I give a huge shout out to Hoenn fanboys, fangirls, whatever, because they complained for so long about Gen 3 remakes, and then they got it, and then they shut up. They were so happy and content. And the Gen 4 people, it just wasn't. They got 2 games.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that Gen 4 has a million legendaries, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
they do have
that's
a lot.
true.
They have a million legendaries.
Does any region have as many legendaries as Gen 4? I don't think so.
It's like 10% of their Pokedex is legendaries, isn't it?
There's so many that if you try and read them all out, you'll forget some, right?
Al, is there a Pokemon that would bring you back to sleep?
No. I think my problem is not the availability of specific Pokemon. My problem was I wanted a game which was I log my sleep and I catch some Pokemon. And that is part of it, but it's way more than that. And it was way more than I was willing to do. Right? It would be like if I didn't enjoy 90% of the features in Pokemon Go, which, yeah, I'm sure we've argued, I'm sure most players don't, right? But that's a whole other issue, right? I do. I enjoy most of the features in Pokemon Go. Mm-hmm. So I enjoy playing that game, whereas I only like 10% of sleep. So why spend all... It's the... Yeah, sure, you can just keep one team and have it, but then you're going to be massively disadvantaged and you're not going to be able to catch what you want. So that's what I found frustrating about it. Like, if it was just... And the problem is, right, what I want is never going to make money, right? Because it's just the most simple thing ever. It's just a sleep tracker where you happen to catch Pokemon, right? And everything else is done there to encourage people to spend money. Fair. It's not what I wanted. That's fine.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely had moments of time where I thought, like, I don't know if I feel like putting as much time into this as it does require. As weird as that sounds, because like you can also play it to where, like, your point where you're not really putting any time into it. Like, you sleep, you wake up, you push the button on your Go Plus Plus, and you just do your like quick feed Snorlax 3 times a day and kind of move on with it.
Oh, no. The true players are not doing quick feed. We are picking our custom meals. We are.
Yeah, no, I know. No, of course. I'm on pick custom meals, but you can do a lot less. But then, are you really enjoying playing it at that pace either? Yeah. Right. And if it's like, I want to play less, but it's because it's not working the way I want it to when I play fully, then is there any point in playing at all? Right.
Yeah, that's exactly. I tried different ways of playing and didn't find that any of them actually gave me what I was wanting from it when it was initially announced. Mm-hmm. That was the thing.
I'm real hot take. I'm still enjoying Pokemon Sleep more than TCG Pocket, but we'll save our TCG Pocket for after the break.
Yeah, that's an interesting... I want to hear more about that.
Before we get to break, I feel like this is newsworthy. Like, I feel like it doesn't sound newsworthy, but I feel like It is. So on Pokemon.com, it says read a part of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet manga available now. Dive into Paldea as you've never seen it before with the manga adventure inspired by Pokemon Scarlet video games. So, like, cool. You get a free couple pages of the manga that you can go to Pokemon.com and read, and that's really neat. I think that actual news here is just the US Pokemon website acknowledging that the manga exists. And that is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen now that they've done this, right? Surely there's a reason they've done this. Like, are they going to? Because I don't think you're still able to actually buy the original manga outside of Japan. Really, like it's really hard to get this stuff. I've tried so many times, and I think
It's not too hard in the US.
Right? Okay, maybe it's just
You mean
it's just a Europe thing,
like the physical
physical or digital.
Yeah, I've looked at that as well because it is in the US there are ways of getting, like, I've tried to download digital versions of the manga and I really wanted to try reading some of the later ones and I could not find them any, like I was like, do they even make them digital? Because I couldn't find like certain ones that they have physical ones, but I was like, I can't find the digital ones anywhere, like to legitimately, purchase them. I could not find them anywhere to do that. So maybe this will open that up a little bit more, possibly.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is are they about to do something like that? Maybe a Pokemon TV for manga.
In the US, we have two book distributors or two places to buy books: Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And if Barnes and Noble goes away, it's just Amazon at this point, which is not a good outlook. I mean, there are smaller shops. So when I say that, I haven't had problem finding manga. Not that I have some manga. Like I have the yellow stuff. I have some stuff from Black and White. I think I have some X and Y stuff. I don't know how I got some of this stuff. I'm not sure. But like if you're in a bigger city like New York or San Francisco or Chicago, there's usually like a Chinatown or a Japantown or a Koreatown, and they usually have their own bookstores. And then in those bookstores, I've always been able to find the Pokemon. I understand. I know somebody's gonna be like, "Well, Pokemon's Japanese. Why are you going to Koreatown?" They have a manga store, and there's usually Pokemon in it. Why? Because it sells.
Look, well, Chinese restaurants have fortune cookies, right? Like we're not talking about accurate things here.
The libraries that we go to also have the manga, at least some of them, because I've definitely gone and looked and found them there at a few of the libraries around, at least San Diego. But yeah, still like digitally is what I'm typically more interested in because I want to just read it on my iPad or something. And I feel like it's just like no way to find at least the later stuff to purchase anywhere, which is really annoying. So if anybody knows, maybe I'm just missing where that is available. But
I would love a subscription service. Like I pay for Marvel Unlimited.
No more subscription services.
No, as an option, right? Like I don't think these things should be the only way you get it, right? But I would love to be able to pay £5 a month and get every Pokemon manga and be able to keep up with it. That would be great. I love that. Like I pay for Marvel Unlimited and I use it every single day, right? Like I like to read these things. I don't live in a city, right? I do not want to have to make my way to somewhere to find a physical copy of a thing to read every single week. I don't know how often the Pokemon manga releases. It's almost certainly not every single week. I know that. No.
But yeah, no, that's smart. See, Al, you're doing the smart thing because I also pay for Marvel Unlimited or something, but I forgot that I did. So they got me right where they want me. But I would totally pay for something like that for Pokemon, because I would love to be able to download and read the manga, but it's just there's no easy way to get it like digitally, and from what I've found. So I don't know. This is cool.
Is the Pokemon manga always black and white?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also,
all the ones I've read.
If you are reading this as your first Pokemon manga, important to note, it is right to left speech bubbles. Don't get confused when you first read it. Japan.
Yeah, that was when my son was really young. we'd go to Book Off a lot. It's like a book reseller, or they sell other stuff too, like resell like DVDs, movies, games, and we would get a lot of the Japanese books, like picture books and things like that. And so when he started reading and looking more into like non-Japanese books, he would like think that they started, on the back, right? Because he was just used to like opening them that way to read, and it was like, no, whoops, like here in America they are flipped the other way.
Then you had to sit him down and explain the American dream to him.
Well, see, interesting thing is that's another advantage of digital comics is that it just shows you the first page that you need to read. Right?
Yeah.
You still need to know which way to read the bubbles, but you don't need to figure out which way to open the book.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I do wonder if the US Pokemon.com acknowledging the manga exists, which I cannot even fathom the last time they've done this. Does that mean something is coming where they've signed a new book deal, or they found a new distributor, or a digital app? I mean, I feel like Pokemon does look at Disney a lot and go, maybe we should do that too. But yeah, I wonder if this is just somebody really pushed for this and they were like, fine, put it on the website, and then we'll never see anything of it, or if this is leading to something else later this year. We'll keep our eye on it.
Yeah, I hope so, just because it is cool to see them acknowledging it. And I know that there are some people, maybe a lot of people, who do read the manga who are actually really excited to see them like acknowledging it, just to give it some more face time to people.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about TCG Pocket, and I don't remember what else was in the middle segment. Oh, Lego. All right, let's start with that. Perfect. Two things that make a ton of money. We will be right back. This podcast is brought to you by Factor. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. This is perfect if you have an active life or a busy life. Hey, it's perfect if you just bed rot and you just want something convenient to eat. These meals are ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. With over 40 different options across 8 dietary preferences, I only need one, which is chicken, on each menu every week. It's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. You can have preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto. If you're like me, give me the chicken, give me the beef. That's all I want. I'll take a little veggies. I'm okay with that. I have not been disappointed with the Factor meals. They're easy. They're convenient. They're just for me. They could just be for you too. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/PKMNcast50 off and use code PKMNcast50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code PKMNcast50 off OFF at factormeals.com/PKMNcast50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. And we are back from our break. Okay. Lego Pokemon coming in 2026. We don't have a whole lot. We have very little. This is off Pokemon.com. For the first time, the Lego group will be bringing the most loved Pokemon to life in a brand new way with play experiences that delight new and existing fans alike. Fans should keep their binoculars peeled and their Pokedex ready to experience the world of Lego Pokemon coming their way 2026. More information revealed at lego.com/themes/Pokemon. There's nothing on that page. It's just the like 10-second trailer of Pikachu's tail being built. So I'm not a huge Lego person. I grew up with very few Legos because Legos were much more expensive than Mega Bloks. So it was a lot of like, oh, you got this huge Mega Bloks thing for Christmas, not Legos. As a kid, I was smart enough to know that Mega Bloks was the like B brand, the like much cheaper brand. And as I grew into an adult, I still kept that mindset of Lego is really expensive, and if I want to have multiple hobbies or things to collect, I got to cut something. And so very early on, I cut Lego.
Let's be honest, that is a very sensible thing to do. And let's not talk about how much money we've spent on Lego. I don't want to. It makes me happy.
So Pokemon had a partnership with Mega Bloks, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
As Al holds up a Pikachu Mega Bloks thing. And in Japan, Pokemon has a deal with Nano Bloks, which are those like the very tiny Lego like bricks.
Yeah, super. I have a Farfetch'd one. I haven't put it together yet. Things are tiny though.
They're really tiny, and I would say not as good quality as Lego. They're just like not the same brick quality.
It's hard to know, right? Because the size does make a big difference, right? They're really fiddly to get the nano blocks. I don't have a Pokemon one, but I have like a guitar one that I got quite a few years ago. And it's fiddly to put together. But it's hard to know how that would translate up to bigger ones, right? Like I think the main issue with that is they are tiny blocks and really awkward to put together.
Yeah.
But Al, you're big Lego guy.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to said news?
That I have said many times that if Pokemon do a Lego thing, that I'm in serious trouble. I do love Lego. If you're watching YouTube, you will see lots of Lego behind me, strategically placed. I think I did buy some of the Mega Pokemon sets just a few weeks ago, actually. Very frustrated about the timing. However, I haven't had the time to put any of them together because what I do is I build up a backlog of Lego, and then eventually I will do them. It's like a one in, one out with Lego, right? Like I've got a backlog of 5, I buy one, and I make the first one, the oldest one that I have. So I think I'm just finishing up a Sonic one that I've got over there. I do my Lego over just next to where I'm recording.
Sonic official Lego?
Yeah. So you can see some Sonic. Sonic here. Sonic Lego here. The Sonic Lego is quite fun actually because there's one that comes with a little launcher for Sonic. You put Sonic in a little ball and you have a little launcher and he goes super fast. It's really fun. They're quite good. But what I like about Lego is how the sets are really nice to put together, right? The best fit, if you will. They don't feel like they're too hard to get together and they don't feel like they're going to fall apart. What I will say is the Mega sets do have a lot more custom pieces, so I think are more likely to look more like the thing, right? If you're going to have a Lego Pikachu, it's probably not going to look as Pikachu-esque as the Mega Pikachu will. But I guess we'll see. We can't judge it until we at least have a picture of it.
Yeah. I think that that's what I like about Lego over other stuff because I want it to have the Lego look, but understand that it's themed on something like Pokemon or Sonic or Zelda or whatever it may be. But I like it to still have like, I know that that's Lego and it's being done like as in a Zelda theme or in a Sonic theme versus where because of the customized pieces, it tries to make it look more like the thing you're building than to give it its own unique look being its own set, you know?
That's fair. What I'm interested about mostly is whether they're going to do minifigs. Because Mario basically don't have minifigs for the main characters, right? They've got the custom ones that are they're like electronic ones. They don't have like a Mario minifig. They do have a microfig of Mario, which if you get the Mario 64 question mark block, which is ironic because the question mark block wasn't in Mario 64, but that's not important. Inside there is a microfig of Mario, but it's literally just 3 pieces. It's like the hat, the face, and the body. But they don't have a normal minifig. However, Animal Crossing do have minifigs, and the Animal Crossing minifigs are pretty good. They are completely custom and look exactly like what you'd expect them to look like.
I guess I completely forgot there was Animal Crossing Lego.
The Animal Crossing Lego is, I think, really good. The only problem with it is they're all quite same-ish, right? You've got, here is the town hall, and it's a building. And then you've got, and here's Nook's Cranny, and it's a building. And then you've got Abel Sister's shop, and it's a building. And so they're all just like the same size and building because they're designed to be able to make an island setup like you would do in game. And that is fun. I actually have a setup like that, which is good fun. But it does mean the sets are all very same-ish. But the minifigs are really good, like the Isabelle minifig and the Nook minifig and all the other ones.
When you say minifig, is that just like feet, body, head?
Yeah, the standard Lego character is called a minifig.
Okay. But is Isabelle's head like a dog head?
Yeah.
It's not the standard like circle head or whatever they use.
Yeah, so no, it's properly shaped, so they're custom heads for the character. But
okay,
have you seen the Bluey sets that they've announced recently?
You know me, I'm waking up to Lego news every morning. No, I've not seen the Bluey set.
They announced Bluey sets recently, and those minifigs are really creepy and weird. Their heads are like they don't look like the characters. They're squished and long. They're really weird.
So when you say minifigs, are you thinking Pokemon themselves, or are you thinking like Ash, Red, Blue, Silver, Ethan?
That is a good point. I hadn't even thought about that because Pokemon as minifigs would be weird because they'd be humanoid, right?
So Incineroar,
I don't think we want a humanoid Pikachu. But nobody needs that.
How else would you have them be, unless they're just like the figure that's like when they have, I don't know the name of it, but when they have like an animal in a set that's just like a little like dog or a little, and it's not, you don't put it together, it's just one piece.
I can't see them doing that.
Right. So then it'd be weird to have a minifig of like Ash, but then you build a Pikachu and then you have a giant Pikachu and a little tiny Ash. Like, I feel like that would be weird as well.
I agree. Okay, you've convinced me. I think they're just going to do sets. I don't think they're going to do any minifigs.
Are minifigs like blind box, or do you know what you're getting?
It depends. They do have some blind boxes, but they don't tend to be minifigs. They tend to be characters that are similar size to minifigs, but made of standard Lego pieces. So they had Mario bags, blind bags, that had different Mario enemies in it, but it would be like 8 pieces you'd put together. They could do that for Pokemon as well. That could be a fun way to do it. Not as minifigs, but as tiny sets where you go in and you buy it and you might get a Pikachu or a Charmander, and they're not the most detailed, but because they're quite small, but it's less weird than the humanoid minifig Pikachu.
I will say that the Lego store at Mall of America is constantly busy, and if it's a Saturday or a Sunday, there is a line to get into the mall, to said store, and I mean, Mall of America has a lot of like pretty unique stores, but you could maybe say, I don't want to say like stores for kids because like lots of adults buy Legos, obviously. I don't know how many kids have like $400 to buy a Star Destroyer thing from Star Wars. I don't even know if that's what it's called. The really, the really big ship that's like $400.
Yeah, they have the Millennium Falcon. I think is
the Millennium Falcon.
Ones. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the one that's kind of like a triangle.
That's a Star Destroyer, but I don't think that's one of the bigger sets, is it? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They're very expensive. But we have like the Crayola store and a bunch of other stuff, but it's always the Lego store that is like line out the door, gotta wait to get in. We're only letting so many people in.
Yeah.
Very popular. And anytime I have company visit, and of course, gotta take them to Mall America, and of course, they want to see the Lego store. That is like the reality check I need when I go in. I'm like, oh, this is like 50-piece set. Oh, it's like $40. That's crazy.
And
Yeah,
the different sets tend to be like different price per pieces. Like Animal Crossing is, I think, the second most. I think actually Lego City is weirdly the most expensive one. But Animal Crossing is second most expensive. So you know that Pokemon's going to be at least as expensive as that.
I know, that's the issue, right? It's going to be Pokemon tax on top of Legos already being expensive.
The other thing that I find quite interesting, which Steve is going to have nightmares about after I explain what this is, they do events at Lego stores. So they did an Animal Crossing one. Was it last year? Maybe the year before. I can't remember. And you turn up to the Lego store, and there's a line, and you have like a mini build that you do in the store. So you're like, you get the list of instructions, and there's just like boxes of pieces, and you have to take out the right pieces to do the build. And with the Animal Crossing one was like a little house, which was good fun. But even like here in Edinburgh, it was such a long line. Actually, no, I went to Glasgow. I didn't go to Edinburgh. Not important. The line was so long for that. It was murder. But let's not pretend like Steve isn't going to feel the need to do it when there's a Pokemon one, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, again, when I was in my early 20s and I was like living paycheck to paycheck, and I wanted to buy Pokemon cards. I wanted to like keep up my video game collection. I remember that was probably around the time they announced Harry Potter Legos. Thank goodness I didn't buy into that, because J.K. Rowling, not a great person. But I was at the time, Harry Potter was a lot of my childhood, and they announced Harry Potter Legos, and it was just like, God, what you want Hogwarts? That was what, like $250 or something? It was like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really expensive. Is there Legolands other places in the country, or is that like we have one in San Diego, so we have a Legoland. It's a Lego theme park, but I don't know if it's like, if they did other ones around different parts of the world, or if that's only.
Yeah, no, they did. The first one was in. Goodness me, I'm sounding like an absolute Lego nerd here. So the first one was in Denmark, where it's obviously Lego.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I believe the second one was Legoland Windsor, which is near London in England.
Okay.
And for a long time, there were just the two of them. And those two, if you know anything about the geography of Europe, you'll know that London and Copenhagen, very close together. Like, they are maybe an hour's flight from each other.
Oh, wow.
They're very close together. So those were the only two in the world. So there was actually, I think, where I live, we were technically closer to the Copenhagen one than the London one. But yeah, Legoland's great.
Yeah, because I didn't really grow up like a huge Lego fan. I mean, I had some Legos when I was younger, but my son was super into Legos from like the time he could put them together. And so, got into it that way, and then got the Legoland pass one year, because it was like, let's go do that. And that it's fun. It's really fun. It is just like you would think a Lego store is incredibly busy. Legoland is like always incredibly busy. It just, lines everywhere to do everything, but it's definitely an experience for sure.
Yeah.
I do think it's sadly ironic that Pokemon partnered with another thing that is as scalped as a lot of their other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how true this is, but I've seen multiple different people on social media say that their whole business is just buying Legos that are about to get discontinued and then sit on them for a year or two and then sell them for like 3 to 4 times the cost because they're no longer made anymore.
I mean, the good thing about that is they do only discontinue sets when they're not really bought. So it doesn't happen quickly. Like, I don't think any of the Mario sets are discontinued yet, and they've been doing them for several years now. So, and you get notice of it, right? Like, we'll know. I think we already know some sets that are being retired at the end of this year. I will say that pre-ordering, because they do the pre-ordering through the Lego store, you have to have an account that way. It is generally quite easy to get the Lego sets that you want to get, and hopefully that will continue. It's when they're first coming out, right? Like I've successfully got every single Animal Crossing set, except one on the release date. And the one that I didn't get, I got like 2 weeks later, right? Like it really didn't take a long time for that. So I'm hopeful that if you want to get it anyway other than the Lego website, then you're probably out of luck, right? Like if you want to just go into a shop and buy it, those will be swiped up so quickly. But because you have to have an account, and I'm pretty sure they have like limits on how much you can buy, it tends to be not too bad if you're pre-ordering through the site.
Has there been other sets, like if you could think of a set, most recent set that would have been incredibly hard to get unless going through Lego, what do you think that would be? Like Animal Crossing, or maybe like a Zelda thing or something? Or
yeah, probably the Animal Crossing ones, although the problem is that they obviously came out enough time after the game was like in everybody's conversation that it probably wasn't as busy. I guess part of the thing is that so many of them are so expensive that they just don't tend to have as many people trying to get them. Although I am interested to see what types of set they have, right? Because yeah, you do have the 300-400 quid sets that are insane and most people won't buy, but you do tend to have smaller ones as well. Like most of the Animal Crossing ones have been like 20 to 40. So it'll be interesting to see the different. Like they have a way to be able to make this accessible for people with less money as well, and kids, because yeah, you're right. Kids aren't buying 300 sets, £300 sets, but they are buying 20 quid sets, and that I think is they still make a lot of money on those sets, but they allow a lot more people to get them in that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a few cheaper sets and a few more expensive sets. I don't see there being over £100 set, I don't think, for Pokemon. Like I can't see what they would do that would be over that much. They're not going to do like a massive set. They're not going to do like a build Kanto, right? Like I can't.
you don't think they could do like a pallet, not Pallet Town, but like a town of sorts where it's like
Messagosa,
Pokemon Center, like a Pokemart, like something like that, where
they will do those, but they'll do them separately. You'll be able to buy, like they won't do the whole town as one. Like you'll be able to buy the Pokemon Center, and you'll be able to buy another building. They could do Messagosa, but who's going to buy that? Like, are you excited about that?
Even when I said that, it's like Messagosa is cool, but I don't think it's as iconic. It's not iconic to a general Pokemon fan.
No,
right?
That they need. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. They need the generic Pokemon people to care.
Right. They need the like Pokemon Center, the maybe like basic gym, Pokemart.
The balls, maybe. They did Mega Blocks balls.
Oh yeah. Maybe like an SSN. But I feel like that's
cool.
That's so specific still.
Yeah, that's pretty specific. I think they would start off first. It would be, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be Kanto, right? And then I think it would be generic from there. So if it's going to be Pokemon related, it's going to be Pikachu starters, things like that. And then if it's buildings and areas, I think it's going to be Kanto related, or it's going to be something generic like a Pokemon Center, a Pokemart, maybe a gym, like a Pokemon gym or something like that. I don't think it's going to be like something very specific that like a bunch of people wouldn't just know right off the bat when they see it.
Yeah. The other thing that I expect them fully to do is pixel art. So that's a standard Lego thing to do, is like a 2D Lego where you've got the board and then you have the little pixels to build out a picture. They're going to do the Pikachu, Charmander, etc. pixel art from the Game Boy, right? And you know how I know they're going to do that? Because they've already done that with Mega Bloks. This is the thing, right? They're gonna recreate all the Mega Bloks stuff they have, and then maybe they'll do some more stuff as well. Which is why I find this so fascinating. I feel like the only reason they're doing this is because they feel like they'll get more people to buy it because it's Lego.
I
right?
think they will. I think they're right about that as well.
I'm sure they had a contract with Mega Bloks, and that contract is now done.
Yes, but the question is why do you not renew it? Why do you go for a different?
Oh yeah,
That's the question, and the answer is because people buy Lego more, right? Like the Pikachu set that I have here, I actually bought in a charity shop for £15. And this is a big set. That is really cheap.
I think you probably don't know this, Al, because you're not living the American dream like Bobby and I. But I think a lot of the Mega Block stuff recently went on sale or clearance at the last week.
I wonder why.
Before
since the teaser,
before,
or before
a week before this announcement.
Oh,
I saw pictures of people going to Targets and showing like the Pokédex, because you could do like you build a Mega Block Pokédex was 50% off, and then a lot of the other, because I think Mega Bloks has those like really tiny Pokeballs that are like what, $8 or something, and then those were half off.
Really? Yeah, they have the small Pokeball, and then I think you open them and there's like figures to build inside of them or something like that. Those are fairly cheap. I was thinking about the fact that with Mega Bloks, we did buy a few sets, and so like I know we bought a set that had like Litten and Poplio, and then you built like a little palm tree. Like it was generic, right? Like it wasn't like
generic Alola.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was just like a couple things that would be themed on Alola. And so they could definitely do something like that as well, where it doesn't actually have to be specific like buildings, but there could be some kind of, just to take that example, Alolan Pokemon with palm trees or something like that.
Yeah.
They could. I don't think they will, but they could.
I guess, yeah, you could look historically on how they do the other themed sets and kind of what kinds of things they bring to those, and then go off of that.
This is the thing, like all the Nintendo stuff, right, has been so different. Because you had the Mario stuff, which was interactive, right? The point was you have this little electronic character, which you are creating levels for, and you are playing Mario. And yeah, they have some builds. There's a couple that are really fun. There's like Bowser's Airship is a really good build just in and of itself. And there's like I think there's a Peach's Castle, which is a good one as well. And there's a few others, but it's mostly pretty bare bones sets that are about making levels. And then there's the Animal Crossing sets, which, as I say, are all designed for building out an island. I don't think either of those work for Pokemon.
Yeah. Is there a Mario Kart set? Did they ever do Mario Kart stuff?
They've announced a Mario Kart set, but they've not released any of it yet. The only thing we know is I think we saw a picture of Mario in his Mario Kart with the glider. I don't think we've seen anything else yet.
Got it.
All right, to shift gears a little bit here, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket announced a new set, Shining Revelry. It's not a great word. I want to say rivalry, but it's not rivalry. It's revelry. I guess I can't say that word. I'll practice. This will come out on March 26th at 11 p.m. Pacific time, which just wait till morning. Your app's gonna crash.
Wait, what time did it say?
11 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I'm real mad at the time change because it used to be 10 p.m. and then now it's 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Pacific.
And I think so far every midnight release has been buggy for a couple hours, and then they get through.
Yep.
So this is gonna be the biggest mini set. Which is 110 cards. What was Mythical Island? 70?
It was 68 regular cards.
68.
Plus.
And then...
Yeah, it was under 100, for sure.
Triumphant Light was 78 or something?
75 regular cards, plus also under 100.
Right.
So, yeah, this is 110, they're saying. And... They're hitting the shiny button. I figured they would do shinies eventually. I didn't think they would do it within, gosh, what is this game, 5 months old?
Yeah, so quick.
Also, there has been multiple like rumors or leaks or whatever you want to call it about Pocket, and really early on they said there was going to be like a Ho-Oh and Lugia set. I think I mentioned this on the podcast, and I was like, just take that with a grain of salt. And then there was never a Ho-Oh and Lugia set. And around Pokemon Day, there was the rumor that we were going to get a set on Pokemon Day, which, that makes sense. I feel like anyone could have predicted that, right?
Yeah.
And then
Most people
the
did.
rumor said,
Yep.
and then the rumor said we weren't going to get another set until the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversations around that time was like, okay, like we just got Space Time Smackdown. Now we're getting another smaller set. But that's okay because like that'll be the end of February. We have almost 2 months until the next set, so we can like save and catch up. And so far, it has been a set every single month. And this was not part of the leak or the rumor that
Right.
we were told.
Sure. Yeah.
That we weren't going to get anything to the end of April, and now here we are with another set, the biggest mini set at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super easy to make a rumor for this, right? Like, it's more difficult, I think, for the main series games because you have to make something that sounds plausible about new Pokemon and stuff like that, and you can look at it and go, well, that's obviously nonsense, right? Whereas if you go, oh, there's going to be a set featuring insert legendary, right? That's going to sound believable because who knows? There's no pattern to these things. They do what they want, right? I don't think any of them have been like correct other than when we got leaks from the game itself, but those have tended
like
to
the
be
data
much
mine.
closer to
The
release.
data, yeah.
But I'm not surprised there's been one a month, right? Like when we got
Same.
the Celebi set.
Damn, they put
Mythical
Joe
Island.
Sarabia in the game? Crazy.
When we got Mythical Island, and then they announced that Space Time Smackdown. I hate that name. It's so hard to remember. I was like, oh, so we're getting a set a month then, right? Like this is what's happening. And is that not? I know it's not exactly the same because the sets are smaller, and I don't know how they compare to this. But there's basically a physical set a month in Japan, right?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Pretty much one a month. They're typically between 50 and 70 cards a set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Japanese
think
ones.
there's always a month they skip. They might always skip like May or something,
I think
but
May is a skipped month.
So I guess we're getting more cards than they get physically, but I guess that's also not surprising because you're getting like free packs and stuff. So I guess I'm just not surprised about them following the same sort of release schedule as Japan, just with more cards because it's easier to get you to spend money that way.
Yeah. I think if they're going to do a bigger set, I think that there will be more time in between the themed booster pack set and that bigger set, if that makes sense. So like, because what happened was we did get Mythical Island, but we didn't get Space Time Smackdown literally the next month. It was 2 months later, wasn't it?
Nope, it was slightly over. So I guess it was a month and a half.
I'll take that. I'll take that as a.
So we got the original one was October 30th, and then
yeah, it
we
was the
got
end of the month.
December 17th, so it was a month and a half, and then a month and a half to Space Down Smackdown the end of January, and then we got a month for Triumphant Light, and there's been another month for Shining Revelry. So technically speaking, it was more than a month, but we have had a set every single month. Except November, but the October set was like the last day.
October
of October,
30th.
so-
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was, and it was three packs worth. It was a big set, so that's understandable but I could also see, because they almost never do like I think it was the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't done a Japanese set in May. I could see them doing this set at the end of March. Sorry, I'm switching between physical TCG and TCG Pocket, but because they're kind of capturing both audiences, right? In some respect with this. So I could see them doing this set at the end of March, and then I could see them doing the next set in the middle of May. There's no physical TCG release coming in the middle of May, most likely. So then they do a pocket set in May, and then they go from there. So I could see there being a little bit longer of a break for the next one where they would actually do a set. This is not going off any rumors or anything. It's just
Yeah. I would actually expect the other way around. Like, there would be less time before the next big set. Or this is more time, right? Because we're now getting too many sets between two big sets.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the next one comes out in April, and then there's a longer time before the next mini set. But this is all, as you say, this is all just random speculation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I still think it is weird. We're just getting so many smaller sets faster, because I don't think there's enough data or proof to say otherwise. Like, they haven't tried another big set to then go, besides the first one, but that's an anomaly. That's the first one, of course. That's like your launch day thing.
Yeah, and it's weird because I feel like Space-Time Smackdown and Triumphant Light would have worked really well as a 3-pack set, specifically because it was Dialga, Palkia, Arceus. Like, they could have done that as a 3-pack set and it been its own set. It could have been the next big set, and then, you know, you have Shiny Revelry as the next small one afterwards. But they broke that into the 2 packs and then 1 pack, and I don't know, it just feels weird.
Maybe they're trying out to see what works better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I do find it amusing that you're talking about the legendary trio, Dialga, Palkia, and Arceus. That's not that's not the one in that trio.
Wait,
Giratina.
What's the? No, I know that Giratina is the other one in that trio. But what's the
No, the set
there's
is
a
Arceus.
card that was really. What's the card that was really well played in the physical TCG? That was the 3 of them.
ADP, Arceus, Dialga, Palkia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm pulling that from. Sorry, so not like the trio from the, but just from the physical TCG.
The trio that gives TCG players nightmare. That trio.
Yeah, exactly.
ADP. Always be thinking about ADP.
I forgot about that card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is another I told you so, but I told people that they should be saving their packs after how I play and how how you should play. How dare you not play the way I play? Is that you should save all of your hourglasses for a launch of a game. Go crazy on launch day, as you would go to the store and buy yourself a bunch of packs, and then start saving until the next one, because you'll have 30 days of your 2 packs every day. So that's like 60 packs of the current one as you wait for the new one. And I was explaining that there's like diminishing returns, right? Like on the first day of Triumphant Light, I got 70 of 75. And it is now, and I have not spent any of my hourglasses, but I've opened almost 60 packs, and I'm still missing those last 5 cards. And they're not like rare cards. Like one was Obama Snow. Like it's a card I could have easily traded. Another one I'm missing, who I'm still missing, is Burmy. Burmy is one of the most I've just it's the one I'm missing. So it's like, do I want to waste 120 hourglasses and still not get a Burmy, which I could easily trade for? Or do I just keep opening Triumphant Light, and as I wait for the new set with my free packs and get the Burmy? And I was, I'm up to 200 plus hourglasses, and by the time this comes out, it should be 2 10 pulls, I think, right? So it's like it's 120, I think.
120 is a 10 pull.
Yeah. So I should have 240 by the time this comes out. And I guess like opening 20 plus packs on launch day feels much better than opening just 3 without spending money.
Yeah, well, it's just what your point was, right? Like the hourglasses, you front load it so that because your free packs that you're opening throughout the month, you're going to be getting less cards. So or you're going to be getting less new cards, right? So it's kind of just like when you feel good about like, do you like opening them with the hype of everybody else opening them? Because like a majority of people are probably opening a bunch of packs upon the release of a set. But some people are like, well, I'll just open them as I do when I can, when I get that 12 hourglasses, I'll just open the next pack and that's fine. I'm more like you, Steve. Like I will go crazy like the first few days of the set, and then I will just open my standard packs until the next set comes out. because I mean that's what I've done, especially with these mini sets, because there are so few cards to collect compared to like Genetic Apex, where there were 226, not counting secret rares.
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up again is not to like make people feel bad, or to be like you're playing the game wrong. You can play the game however you want, but the conversation I see has just amplified every set of like, this is coming out too fast. I can't stay caught up. And even with this set, I've seen people say like, this is too fast. I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
What I will say as sorry, Al. What I will say,
I think you're probably going to say the same thing as I'm about to say. We'll see.
Well, no, I was going to say what I will say as like as a physical TCG collector who doesn't collect to play the game, like just to collect the cards. The benefit of Pocket is that the price of the packs don't increase with time. So it's like you don't have to have all the cards right away. Whereas with like, if I would want to collect all the Evolving Skies cards, my cheapest time to do that is going to be when the set releases and not 6 months later when all the cards cost twice as much to collect. So it's different.
I would also say I don't think that I'm not able to collect all the cards is related to when they use the hourglasses, right? Like if you're a free to play player and you're just using all the hourglasses that you can get free, if you use them on day one or you use them on the last day before the next set, you're still opening the same number of packs. And I think the frustration there is fair. And if you are a completionist in a game that very much has always been around collecting all the Pokemon, right? Like that has always been its thing, except for those few years where they removed the catchphrase. I get why people are frustrated about that, especially the people who are premium, right? They've got the premium pass and they're still not able to collect them all without putting even more money in. And I don't think it's related to when they use the packs, the hourglasses. And I think it's just one of these things that's going to continue to be an issue. And I think if that's frustrating to you, then it's probably fair to just stop, because that's going to get worse.
But don't you think if you had 240 hourglasses like I do going into the 28th or whatever, don't you think you would feel a little bit better of like, cool, when this set drops, I am prepared. I can open 20 some packs right away versus, oh, I didn't know this was happening. I didn't start saving yet. I can only open 3 packs when this comes out.
Possibly. However, I will say there is a disadvantage to that in that most days you never get a new card after that. Whereas if you don't front load the packs, for the first like week or two, you're getting at least one new card every single day.
That's true. That's true. I agree.
And then when you get near the end, you use up your hourglasses and you're more likely to get a new card because you're opening more than just your 2 or 3 packs a day.
Yeah. I feel like that's
because I have no self-control and I open as much as I possibly can whenever I possibly can. But that is a whole other issue, right?
They also announced that the ranked will be coming on the 27th, and there will be an emblem that you can earn or win. There's no details for that, so I don't really want to speculate or guess how rank's going to work, especially when it's coming in. When this podcast goes up in like 4 days, we can talk about that next week for sure. But I agree with people. I do think these sets are coming a little faster than anyone anticipated, and I think the reality is that's irrelevant to free to play players, because the whales are still going to drop $100, $200, $500 the day a new set comes out, because they want all the cards as fast as possible, and those are the people keeping the game running, and that's the unfortunate world we live in.
There is also one more thing that I just for the record, I'm still loving Pocket and I'm not foreseeing stopping playing it at all. However, I am going to compare it to Pokemon Sleep. And that is because I feel the same way about Pocket in some ways as I do about Sleep. in that if we compare it to Pokemon Go, when a new Pokemon is released in Pokemon Go, how much you get or how likely you are to get that Pokemon depends on how much time you spend in the game, right? If when Nickit came out last week, I went out and I spent an hour hunting Nickit and I caught enough and I evolved it. Great, fantastic. And no matter how many Pokemon they release in any event, you can get them all just by playing mode of the game. Whereas both Sleep and Pocket, your ability to get the new stuff is based on not how much time you spend in the game, not based on your skill, but money, right? And that's the thing. And yes, some things in Pokemon Go are tied to money, but also you can, other than, I guess, raids, everything else you can just spend time to do. Like even eggs, you just walk more and you get it. That's not an issue. Whereas there's, no matter how much time I spend in the game, there's a limit to how much I can get in Pocket.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. But because they haven't discontinued any sets, you can still eventually get everything at some point down the road. Like, again, coming back as a physical TCG collector, like, you takes years to complete sets sometimes. Like, it's not like I'm going to complete every set, like, right off the bat. But, like, as I'm going down the time of, like, doing that, like, these things pop up and you collect cards down the road that you didn't have a year ago and things like that. And, you know, I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but until they discontinue sets, like, you can still just open older stuff whenever you want to.
Yes, but if I'm opening an older set, I'm not opening a newer set. So I can't go, oh, I'm going to spend time opening an older set. I'm going to open Genetic Apex instead of opening Triumphant Light. And so if I don't have everything else complete...
I said I did that the other day. I was like, let me rip some Charizard packs. Oh, yeah, I don't care about any of these cards.
Like, there's still a finite number of packs you can get, full stop, unless you pay more money. And that does mean that, yeah, sure, I can open older packs, but if they keep releasing packs and I go back to older packs to complete my set, then I'm just creating a problem for myself in the future with other sets.
There's also that. Yeah. I don't want the segment to go too long. There's also there are some people who just want that number to be hit of like 75 out of 75 for Triumphant Light, and then there are some people that are like, that's not good enough. I need all the rainbow rares. And
yeah, those people are in for the world of hurt, though.
And all the gold crowns.
But that exists again in all kinds of ways, and
in like the master sets and stuff.
And when you do end up spending more money to do that, right? Like, and yes, Pokemon Go is different in that, like, technically you can collect almost every Pokemon without really having to pay any money, especially with, like, they have the free daily raid passes, so you could go and use your free daily raid to get a raid only Pokemon, but. And then you can trade, right? And then you can trade for stuff as well that, you know, because otherwise, like, I can't catch a Farfetch'd. If I didn't have a Farfetch'd, I'd have to fly to Japan to catch a Farfetch'd in Pokemon Go. Like, well, unless I'm trading.
Except they do events later on to allow you to do that. I think they've done that for almost every regional up to
right, but
Gen
like
7 so far.
So it would have taken me 2 years to get my Farfetch'd, right? Like, I wouldn't have been able to complete it because it would have been 2 years before that first event came out, and then I complete my collection because 2 years after the game came out, there's an event where Farfetch'd is available.
I still don't think that's the thing I'm complaining about. It's not about the amount of time. It's because that's the point. Is you can't put in the time to do anything. Yeah, I accept that it takes a long time to get a full collection in Pokemon Go, but the point is that you're not, if I catch let's take your Farfetch'd example, right? They eventually released those in raids outside of Japan. I don't know if they did it before Kanto Tour or not, but they definitely did it for Kanto Tour. You could get them then.
Eggs too, as well at one point before Kanto Tour.
Oh, okay, yeah. But that wasn't me going and doing a Farfetch'd raid wasn't stopping me getting something else at that point. That was just what was there at that time, right? Whereas in the future, opening previous packs means that I cannot open the current packs because I have a limited number. And yes, you can compare it to the physical TCG and say it's better than that. Absolutely, it's better than that. There's a reason I don't buy physical cards anymore, right?
He's buying Legos.
I think it's just, again, for the record, I am still enjoying Pocket, and I am going to continue to play it. But the problem is, I think I'm saying I understand why some people are getting frustrated, because unless you're going to put in the money, you will never get every card. Just full stop. Even the diamonds, I don't think it would be possible realistic. I guess with trading makes it possible for the diamonds, but
yeah, trading makes it possible. But no, I see what you're saying, Al. My problem with both Sleep and Pocket isn't the like you're never going to get a perfect Ralts or you're never going to get a gold Mewtwo. My problem is both those apps are so incredibly slow. Like every menu system you tap on is just like, why does this take so long? And I've gone from opening Pocket from 2 to 3 times a day to just being like, I'll just wait till it says I have 4 packs. And then I'm just going to go in, I'm going to open all 4 packs, and I'm going to leave the app. Because I don't want to deal with the sluggishness.
You're missing a pack then if you're doing that. You're waiting.
I know, I am. But opening the app is my biggest, like the sluggishness of the app is my biggest hurdle with it right now.
Interesting.
That was how I felt with Pokemon Sleep. I think I said this on the podcast like a year ago. But like after playing Pokemon Go, and I'm not saying like their
Pokemon
menus
Go
are perfect,
so fast,
but it's so much faster. And then you go play Pokemon Sleep, and it's like I tapped the wrong thing, and I'm like, no, now it's gonna take like 3 times as long to get to the right thing.
Yeah, I will say I'm still playing Pocket as much as I previously was. The only thing I'm doing less is I'm not doing any of the Battle Emblem events. I'm doing the solo battle stuff. I've still got a backlog of the solo battles from Triumphant Light and Space Down Smackdown to do, but I'm enjoying doing the solo battles, but I'm not doing any of the the PvP stuff. I just don't find that fun.
I don't know.
I think I like the ranked a little bit more. I don't like the 5 wins in a row. I think the thing I like about ranked is that because it's ranked, you will be like playing people in that same ranking or like in that same like
ideally
level, but I mean more so than what it is. I mean, ideally more so than what it is now. When if you're doing like the 45 wins or you're doing the 5 in a row, it's just randomly placing you with people, obviously. So there's none of that.
The problem I find with ranked is that you essentially have to be battling all the time to keep up and to get to the higher. I mean, obviously it depends on how they implement it, right? We don't know exactly how it's going to work, but assuming it's like other card-based battling apps where you have a ranked ladder, you're probably going to spend a lot of time. Like I dropped out of playing Marvel Snap because I was having to play hours every single day to get to the level I wanted to get all the stuff I wanted to. And I just wasn't like it. I was having fun to start with, but then I just felt like I was always in the game. I wasn't doing any other games at that point.
Yeah.
And it just becomes your entire life. I can't do that.
I guess we'll see. I did think it was interesting that they kind of all they mentioned for the ranked at this point was like to what Steve said earlier. It's just an emblem at the end of the season based on your rank. So I obviously we'll see what else they add to that, or if it's literally just that, at least at first. I do think it's cool that they're also releasing these EX deck missions as well this week. So you'll have like a month to do, I think it was like 9 of them. There are like 9 of these EX deck missions. And so that's not something they've done before, right? Like where there are specific missions to get these decks. So I think that'll be nice. And I thought I saw somewhere, and I was looking for it to see if I could find it, but I thought I saw somewhere where they said like once you complete the deck mission, like you'll get all the cards from the deck or something like that. But that might just, I don't know if that's just for rental decks.
Where you're ultimately picking a deck and you get everything in it.
Yeah.
So optimally, you should open up as many cards as you can from the new set and then pick the deck of the cards you're missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideally.
If it's anything like previous sets, what you'll have is one card missing from every deck. And it's probably the same card, though, to be fair. I got one card. I got a new card 2 days ago, and it finished 4 different decks.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a break, and then we'll spend a little bit of time on what more information we know about this Pokemon Go Scopely thing. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. More Pokemon Go. Still under Niantic's watch. No worries. Whenever the deal for Scopely happens, will happen. Mega Audino finally coming to raids.
Finally.
Our 1 Gen 5 Mega Pokemon. And then Gigantamax Snorlax coming to 6-star max raid battles. Mega Audino will be Friday, April 4th to Saturday, April 5th. Or sorry, the remote raid pass increase will be there. For $5, you will get 8 additional raid passes, more increased chance of XL candy, 50% more XP, 2 times more Stardust. That raid event will be Saturday, April 5th from 2 to 5. There will be timed research that you'll get. And then if you buy from the web store, you will get a bonus premium raid pass at no additional cost. That's going to make you go out. That's bringing people back, I'm sure, right? People quit the game and they were like, finally, Mega Audino is here.
Yeah. I think I also saw there was a higher chance of shiny Audino with these raids.
I think they've all been higher chance, like Blaziken and all the other megas. I think were higher chance during raid days.
Yeah, just during the raid day though. But that's that's
increased
nice,
chance. They do say
I
here.
still don't have a shiny Audino and Go.
Yes, same.
So that'll be nice.
Oh, really? Crazy.
Yeah.
What they were boosted for one event, I remember, and I got a handful.
They were. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I remember not catching any during that event.
I don't know. This seems very skippable to me. Like I don't need the shiny, and I don't need to give Niantic $5, and I'll get enough energy from doing like 3 throughout the weekend.
That's
probably
how
only need to do 2 realistically.
Yeah, realistically.
This is, you know me, right? I like to pay for research tickets, but this is I never pay for the raid day tickets because I typically do them remotely anyway. So there's never a reason to like get more. And I also have a stack of like 150 premium raid passes from like pre 2020 when they were in every like box that you would buy. So
yeah, same. And I can't even use them for the Gigantamax, which is the only thing I do in person anymore.
Well, speaking of Gigantamax, that will be Saturday, April 19th from 2 to 5. Is that 2 weeks after or? Yeah, 2 weeks after. Yeah. Max particle increase will go up. All power spots will host Gigantamax. Power spots refresh more frequently. 8 times the particles from power spots. 2 additional special trades. Actually, is that new for this? I don't remember that last time.
Special trades?
Yeah.
That's nice.
2 times the max particles exploring. 1/4 adventuring distance for max particles. There will be timed research that will give you a Dynamax Machop. That's cool, I guess. For the event ticket, you will get 1 max mushroom, 250,000 XP, and then you will get 2 times the XP from raids and max particle collection limit up to 5,600. Which
Hold
is
on.
Did you say
250,000?
Oh, sorry, 25,000. Bobby's like, I'm really sold on this $5 ticket.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I might buy this
the same thing there, Bobby. I was like, wow.
I was like, wait,
paying
what?
for that? Wild.
And you can usually double with luck with a star piece or whatever to the 1.5.
Here you heard him, Niantic. You knew 250,000. You're selling more $5 tickets. If you buy from the web store, you will also get a bonus max particle pack at no additional cost. And
calm down.
look, I I like Gigantamax raids a lot. I've said this over and over again. Gigantamax Snorlax, I think, is the most useless Gigantamax.
Really?
It's good for nothing.
It's good for looking great.
It does look good. I'm not. It does look great, but like as a defender, Blissey just runs circles around it.
Oh, right.
And I don't think there's any Pokemon currently that's going to be better than Blissey as a healer defender, unless like specifically you're going against like a water Pokemon, then you could bring Lapras because that would be more resistances. But when you have two normal type Pokemon, Blissey is just better in every category. Maybe if you wanted to do like a little more damage, but
yeah,
normal isn't super effective against anything.
So you're saying that this is just a Pokedex filler then,
Oh,
Steve?
yeah.
That's all it is? That's all this Snorlax is to you?
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Sad.
This is Dex filler. Al, are you going to go out and adventure?
I'm going to do this one, yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to do... I think because they're now no more frequently than one a month, new ones anyway, I'm finding it a lot easier to do them, especially as I've managed to get my younger son interested in Pokemon GO now. And so he is coming out with me to these events. So I asked him yesterday, are you up for another big battle event in Pokemon in a few weeks? And he said yes. So we're going in to do it.
I envy you, Al. My kids were super into Pokemon for a little bit, and we were doing all the Go stuff together, and then they were like, now we're into real animals.
Yeah.
Never mind these fake ones. And I was
man,
like,
you lost them.
Oh,
You're not buying
they'll
enough
get back
cards.
into it. They'll be back some. Yeah, right. I can't find them anywhere. How am I supposed to buy cards for them?
It is frustrating that they are doing Snorlax before Machamp. Because we could have used Machamp for the Snorlax.
But that's why they give you the Dynamax Machop to evolve.
I forget. They haven't done Orbito yet, have they?
No.
But they had that back in November in a promo image, right?
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Everybody
we're
thought
assuming
it was...
We're assuming that Machamp is coming soon because it was in the promo image for this season.
No, it's in the... Anytime you open the app and look at the... It's in the promo image you see when you open the...
Yeah, but that's still just a promo... Right. There's a possibility it doesn't come this season. Like
the season's called Might and Mastery. It would...
The season is called Might and Mastery, and the image is 2 Urshifu and a Gigantamax Machamp. Come on. The Orbital thing was just in a teaser trailer. It wasn't in like
it was in a promo
imagery
image as well, wasn't it?
I don't think it wasn't in like the image of the season though.
Yes,
it was.
I think it was.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
In the same way it is like
used.
this, where like it's literally the image of the like.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. It
Okay.
wasn't in a load up screen. No.
Okay.
But I think it was on the web page for the season.
I think Al is right. Yeah.
Maybe they
Al,
forgot.
when you went out and did the past Gigantamax, did you buy the $5 ticket?
No, I don't think I did. I bought there was a web exclusive deal that was just like there was like some raid passes and stuff, and also some max particles. But it wasn't the like timed research or anything. Annoyingly, that was the one. I don't think they've done it since, but that was the one where you didn't get the max particle pack. You just got max particles, so they went straight into your max particle storage.
Oh,
so you were over. You then had to use them before you could get any more. It was very frustrating, and I think since then they've just given you the packs, which is a much better way to do it, because then you can use them when you actually want to, rather than having to because you want to get more.
Yeah,
it's a dreadful way of doing it.
Yeah, there was the argument we had on the show when they introduced max mushrooms that I said that this was one of the more predatory items because lower level people will spend the money thinking it will help when in reality it doesn't help.
Yeah.
And I remember Hannah giving me a lot of pushback on it, which Hannah and I think Bobby agreed. Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, but the argument you guys had was, well, what if you're, experienced players and you want to use it to help? And I wasn't disagreeing with that, but I think the problem I have with like the lower level players is like if you spend, $1 or however much it costs for a lucky egg, you can easily waste that dollar, right? You can turn it on, forget you turned it on, and you wasted it, and that's kind of your fault.
Done that
right?
many times.
Same thing with Star Piece. You can turn it on and forget to use it, but also you can turn it on and grind super hard and get the value of both of those items. And you can't really do that with Max Mushroom because you can turn it on and still continue to fail over and over, and it doesn't help you. So because I've done so many more max raids than Bobby or Hannah or anyone else.
You don't know that.
I do.
Anyone else?
Every time I see somebody have a max mushroom, I always check their level, and almost always they're like level 25 or 28 or something. And you watch them come into raids with like Wooloo or Sobble or Grookey, and they just get one shot, and they're just wasting money, right? Like even if you bought a lucky egg, and the other 3 people carried you, at least you're getting that bonus experience at the end. Where this max mushroom is not benefiting you, it's not benefiting us. The only person benefiting is Niantic. And I actually ran into somebody in LA, and they were like, your max mushroom talk resonated with me so much because he said in his own community, lower level people would buy max mushrooms because they thought it was easier to do that than to level up their Pokemon. And he was like trying to explain that it's not helping, and they were like, well, it takes too much time to level up. I'm just gonna buy the max mushroom. I'll be fine this weekend.
And then they still get one shot.
Well, that's just a fail. What's that? A fail? That's the fail on the communication of what that actually, like, how that actually works, maybe.
And I feel like that's part of the point that you were bringing across, Steve. Like, I think both things can be true, right? I think I'm pretty sure Brandon in the Slack community, I think the first time for the first Gigantamax, they didn't manage to do any. They didn't manage to complete any. And then when the Max Mushroom came out, they actually managed to complete the Gigantamax for the next ones. Mm-hmm. So it actually was helping them do it. But that's because they actually know how it works. And they actually, spent the time to make sure that everybody had the right stuff. And then they used the Max Mushroom to then help increase the thing. And it's still not great paying to win in those types of paying to win the Gigantamax raid. Not amazing, but like that is still, it allowed them to do something they couldn't. But also, I think you're totally right in that it is very predatory because it's really easy to accidentally buy it and accidentally use it when you've no idea that it's actually not going to help you at all. Yeah. And you are spending money for nothing.
I mean, I would imagine when like regular raids came out, there were probably a bunch of people who spent money on premium raid passes to then just do a raid and then not be able to finish it or be able to beat it, and then not have people to like, how many dollars were probably wasted by people not really understanding like, oh, I shouldn't have done this because I can't beat it and now I have no one to do it with and it's going to run out.
It is, thankfully it is slightly better now in that when raids first happened, as soon as you entered the raid lobby, your pass would be used up at that point. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, they now don't use them up until you actually enter the raid. Because it was especially a problem with remote raids, because when remote raids first came out, it was still the situation where they used it up when you went in the lobby. And so most of my raiding is remotely with random people now. And the number of times you would have someone create a lobby and not everyone joins, and you've not got enough people to beat it now, but you've already used up the raid pass, and so it's failed. There's nothing you can do. So it is better than that, but it's wild to me that it's been this long now. We're like over 6 months now since Dynamax is released, and standard raids still haven't updated to the same way that Dynamax do, where you only use it if you succeed. I guess they're not going to do that. I mean, I don't expect them to now, because
No,
I
I
feel
don't
like they
either.
would have done it by now if they were going
Yeah.
to. It's
Yeah.
just weird to me that there's that disconnect.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I don't know where to find these people and shake them down and say like, do not buy max mushrooms. Like, and even me who has done so many max raids and I have so many Pokemon at level 40 with level 3, level 3, level 3 or
Mhm.
whatever. There's no point in me using them because I'm never hitting the attack button. I'm always hitting max guard or I'm always hitting max spirit. And so, like, I can't even use them because the majority of players, which this is not an issue exclusive to Pokemon Go, this is an issue to any game that has raids. The majority of players just want to DPS. They just want to do damage. They want to feel like they're hitting these big moves. And people don't like playing healer. I do like playing healer, so it's very convenient for me to be like, all right, I'm going to be the healer pretty much every single time. That's why I actually set time aside to do the Max Monday Chansey hour because I was like, I want a good Chansey because I'm always playing healer.
Yeah.
But I literally can't even use them because I'm never in a situation where it's like, oh, somebody else is going to heal. I can do big damage with Excadrill. I just never get to do that.
Sounds like you're saving money.
Yeah.
I also wonder how much of it is because obviously you talked about people thinking it's easier than leveling up. I wonder if people think that you need to level up to 40 or 50, where you really don't. Like most of my Dynamax Pokemon are only leveled up to like 25 or 30. And I can solo everything except 5 and up. Like
Yeah. Well,
which
I think
was really hard at the start, but not hard now.
If you
With
were
that.
like I love the particle system more than the raid system because I was able to do 7 Chanseys on Monday because I had all the particles saved up from the day before, and then I was able to spin all the particles that day.
Yep.
And then I think there was like a research that gave me an extra 500. So I was able to do all those raids for free. And now throughout the week, I haven't done any raids, but I've been powering up the one good Chansey I got. And it like people just do not get that you're like even going from just having max 2 of everything, which requires no XL, is so much more helpful than getting your Pokemon up to 40. But I think these players think like, oh, I forgot to like power up any of my moves. I forgot to level up. That's fine. I'll just pay. It's almost like the community day thing where it's like, oh, I forgot to delete Pokemon. I'll just buy some more storage. Oh, I forgot to power up my Pokemon. I'll just buy the max mushroom and then I'll be fine. I'll fit in. But that's
Yeah.
not what's
Not
happening.
how it works. Yeah, exactly. Well, I do think that there's people being people. That's always a factor. Every single topic we talk about, people being people is a factor. But I think there's also a lack of communication or maybe like confusion in communication on how the max mushroom works. Again, like this kind of goes back to like they just threw Dynamax raids out there and were like figure it out people. And then they threw like Gigantamax raids out there and were like figure it out people.
Yeah.
Even though they never like built up anything with Dynamax raids to have people use the other things. And I feel like that's just a continuation of that. And that's what it is for Dynamax and Gigantamax raids, I guess. Like, I guess they're just like, well, figure it out eventually.
I'm hoping all of these max mushrooms I'm getting from tickets, they'll be like, well, if you have 3 of them in your inventory, you can turn them into soup.
I
not
still
gonna
don't
spend
think
them.
soup's coming.
I think soup is coming.
I don't think soup's coming. We'll see.
$10 for the bowl or something though to do it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're not gonna be able to.
All right, we have a couple more minutes. Al, what was the standout for Pokemon Day for you?
Oh yes, Pokemon Day. The ZA stuff, the Legends
Yeah.
ZA stuff. I thought was good. We got a decent amount of information around it while still keeping a lot for future. Because Pokemon are great at over explaining things. We don't know exactly how it's going to be, but we definitely saw what I love from Legends, which is running around and throwing balls at Pokemon. Whether it works exactly the same, the aiming and the throwing, we still don't know, but I'm feeling pretty confident about that, and that's what I was most looking for in this game. I want another game like Legends Arceus, and I want it to be different. I don't want it to be exactly the same, but the one thing I want to be very similar is the catching, because that was the most fun I had, I think, in any Pokemon game ever.
Did you like the battling in Arceus?
So I liked how it was a bit different. I liked the concept of the agile and strong style. I wouldn't say I enjoyed the battles, because I don't think I would ever say I enjoyed battles in Pokemon games, right? But I thought the agile and strong style made it slightly more interesting in that what I really liked was changing those and being able to see how that affects the future moves. Like, doing a quick attack, doing an agile quick attack and seeing that you can now do 3 in a row was quite fun, and being able to kind of predict that. It's still turn-based, but you're kind of thinking multiple turns ahead in that way. I thought it was quite fun.
Yeah.
There was a couple other games that did that. Like, I think Bravely Default did that, where you could do like a quicker attack and then stack the quicker attacks. Or you could do a heavy attack, but then you're slower.
It did lead to some things that were basically broke the entire game if you did them, but
correct, yeah.
Like
Agile
you can
Swords
probably
Dance.
do that for most games, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can do that in any game. You can have like a Pokemon that has a specific held item that does a specific thing that cheeses the game. So I'm not really sure that's a good argument against it.
Do you look forward to moving your character, then that moves your Pokemon?
Oh, the moving around. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays, right? Like, you could move around in the battles in Legends Arceus as well, and how they're. But I like what they're doing in terms of taking what they had before and building on that. And I have never said I just want Legends Arceus in a different place, right? Like, I never want them to do the exact same thing as they previously have. But I like them. What they're doing is taking what they had and building on that. And yeah, the battles are going to be different from Legends Arceus, but they're also similar in some ways. And they're taking what they see as the good things from that and changing the things that they see as bad things from that, and then adding on some new things as well, I think is a good thing. Like, if battles were still the same as they were in Black and White, I'd be really frustrated, because that's not interesting, right? Like, they've always added new things to battles, when they added double battles and they added rotation battles and they added the hordes and they added whatever it was called in X and Y when you had them. I can't remember what that one was called. Whatever, doesn't matter. You get my point. I like them changing things about battles, and yeah, this feels like the biggest change they've ever made to battles, because it's maybe not turn-based, maybe turn-based. I don't think we have enough information to make that for certain, right? Because I think when we first saw Legends Arceus, people were like, "Oh, it's not turn-based battles," but it was. It just didn't really feel like it in the first trailer because it was very different. But just because it's different turn-based doesn't mean it's not turn-based. So we'll have to see how that ends up being.
Yeah. Part of me is like, okay, I have to move my trainer to move my Pokemon, but what if I just moved my Pokemon instead?
Right. Yeah.
And I guess we don't know how much that's actually going to impact on things. It could absolutely be this sort of thing where you could just completely ignore that and still win everything, and it doesn't really matter. Or it could be that it's an absolute requirement to be able to progress the game, and that will massively depend on whether it's fun or not, as to whether that's a good thing or not.
Yeah. How do you feel about the size of Onyx in the trailer?
Look, I'm fed up of running into Pokemon because I can't see them because they're so tiny. I am pro make Pokemon more similar sized. so that I don't have to deal with that. I understand your complaints about Onyx. I can understand that you want Onyx to be a towering inferno. I understand that. I don't know why I said inferno. He's not made of fire. Fire Onyx, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
But I am pro make them all exactly the same size so I can actually see them.
That's why you gotta turn on the jumbo sandwich when you're shiny hunting.
I
So they're
guess,
much
'cause-
bigger.
Yeah, I've been shiny hunting Smoliv, and it's so hard.
But then
to
the
seal.
problem, yeah, well, then the problem is that you're sacrificing another one of the upgrades, right? So like, are you not having encounter up? Are you not having shiny up? Or are you not having marks up? Right? Like, you've got to decide one of those is not coming along with you if you have jumbo up.
Oh yeah, I just get rid of encounter. That's fine.
Oh, but that's what makes the shiny hunting actually fun in Scarlet and Violet.
Nah, title, shiny title, jumbo. I've always felt like that's good enough.
No, I'm a shiny encounter title. That's the three I always go for.
I love the jumbo. I love them being bigger.
I shiny hunt without sandwiches.
Oh my gosh.
Without sandwiches, my word. The only time I shiny hunt without sandwiches is when they have the shiny boosted outbreaks.
Yeah.
No, even with that, I turn the sandwich on because I want to increase the
sandwich-
jumbo.
Because you have infinite
the jumbo
Herba
one,
Mystica.
I
I
understand.
do have a lot of herba.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
have so much Herba.
I don't do enough raids to be drowning in Herba. I did a lot of Skeledirge raids because I was running out of Herba Mystica.
If there's one thing about me, I'm stocked on herba and I'm stocked on max mushrooms and Pokemon Go at this point. Any thoughts on champions? You're not a battler, so I can't imagine.
Oh yes, forgot about that. I am not a huge battler, but I am very interested in champions, and I will 100% be trying it when it comes out. I think the thing that I'm most interested in is rental teams. I know we don't have any information about that, but I think it would be very surprising if they don't have rental teams. Part of the reason I'm not a huge battler is because I don't find it fun making teams. And I like even with TCG Pocket, I don't really make decks. I take other people's decks and try out a few and see what works for me, and then I find one that I enjoy and I continue it. I might edit it a little bit, but I'm not thinking out of the box for these things. And I think it's the same with battling. I'm looking forward to seeing what I really hope they allow, not just standardized rental teams, but also I really hope they let people share rental teams. That I think would make it killer, because then I can go on and see, oh, here's Steve's teams that he's added. Here's Wolfglick's teams that he's added. And I can take these ones.
There won't be any Wolfglick. You gotta do the Patreon paywall for Wolfglick's teams.
And there's these people on Reddit that have thought of these really fun teams to play with. Let me go try that out and see how it feels. I could see myself spending some time on that. It'll probably be very focused, small amount of time. I'll spend out 2 weeks playing for, because that's how I play my games, right? Like I spend 2 to 3 weeks playing all of my gaming time, except Pokemon Go time, which is a separate time in my life. Playing that one game, and then I stop and I never touch it again. So I could see myself doing that with champions.
Well, okay. Look, there was a bunch of TCG stuff we didn't cover this episode. There was a lot of TCG stuff, actually. Market manipulation, MJ Holdings actually doing some really shady stuff. Journeys Together out. There's a lot of TCG stuff. I'm because Hannah stepped away from the show. I am trying to see what the new direction of the show is. It's always great to have Al on. I think if we do more Pokemon Go heavy stuff, I can always grab Chris. I know we should bring back Bob. Bob has a bunch of thoughts. There's a bunch of directions we're going. I think I have a special guest lined up for next week, which is perfect because I think we're going to be talking about the TCG a lot next week. So fingers crossed that goes through. I will tell you, as doing podcasts for 15 years, it is always hard to get a consistent rotation of people because people forget or last minute or things happen. Life is complicated. So, But thanks for making it to the end. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Al. We will be back next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super, just pay $1 for one more opinion.
You know what? I don't know what this game looks like when we run out of Pokemon. I don't want to be around when that happens. I just want to cut ties. I don't want to pay these people anymore. I don't want to worry about this game. I would like another yacht to sail on. Let me just sell. And Scopely probably sees, as a game company, we can envision